Well, I don't know if you saw this, Jay, but when you watch the incident of this Lakers-Pistons game in its entirety, it's really stunning what happened. So first of all, this is what happened. Obviously, LeBron, his second game back, they get blown out in his first game back. They're down 11 here. Keep your eye on LeBron and Isaiah Stewart. This is on the free throw attempt. And LeBron is going to box out, and he's going to hit Stewart in the eye. Look at that. Right? Now, you're going to see him walk up kind of to Stewart, and he has his hand out.
It's like, my bad.
And, well,
maybe
Stewart pushes LeBron back, and that's just the start of just a wild sequence where Stewart was absolutely incensed. It took everyone to just try to hold him back. Obviously, a big, strong guy arguing with the referees. You got the coaches in there. You had security personnel from Pittsburgh. From Detroit. You had look at Cade Cunningham. He's also trying to hold him back. So there's just this huge scrum of players. With Lakers in there, with Pistons in there. Cunningham is really trying to talk his teammate off the ledge. You can see the blood there, Jay, from his eye. Yeah, he really was hurt in this one, bleeding. And finally, it's like, okay, it looks like at this point that he is headed to the locker room, right?
I don't think he is.
And by the way, Westbrook was teed up. He found out after the game. Back comes Stewart. This is just back onto the floor. He just was very, very, very hard to calm him down. This is quite a sequence, and they literally have to force him, Jay, to go into the tunnel. He's fighting the whole way. They had to put somebody outside, one of his teammates outside the other tunnel to make sure he wouldn't run around and come back out onto the floor. So just another look at this, what started it off. The referees charged LeBron with a flagrant 2. That's his second career ejection. You could go all day long. Was it inadvertent or was it intentional? Was he just frustrated? But here's what happened is the Lakers, it just really charged them up. So as I mentioned, at the time of the incident, they were down 11, and then they were just fired up. It was really the Westbrook, the Anthony Davis show, and the Lakers eventually take the lead here. They come all the way back, and they win this game 121 to 116. Anthony Davis's line was insane. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Westbrook had 26 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. As I mentioned, he found out about the T after. Here's AD.
Everyone in the league knows LeBron not a dirty guy. I nearly hit him. As soon as he did it, he looked back at him and told him, "Oh, my bad, I didn't try to do it." He tried to, I don't know what he was trying to do, but I know nobody on our team, 1 through 15, was having it. We're going to protect our brother.
What did the officials say that you were assessed a technical for?
Who got a tech?
You did. You did.
I got a tech? Oh, wow. Why'd I get a tech? I didn't know I had a tech.
Maybe de-escalate.
Wow. That's interesting. Well, that's just being Russell, I guess. When you Russell Westbrook, they just try to do anything, apparently. But whatever. I don't know why I don't know what I did, but whatever. They had to put it on somebody. I'm easy person to throw shit on. Why not me?
To me, it's one of those things that can change the momentum of your season. To see guys rally around a teammate that just got ejected like that, in a strange circumstance. Played with incredible guts. Started the fourth quarter down 15, and that's the determination that this team is going to need.
Now, should LeBron James face disciplinary action from the ejection, he could miss the Lakers' only trip to Madison Square Garden this season. We're going to keep you guys updated, obviously, on all of the fallout from the league as they review this incident. But nonetheless, following that ejection, the Lakers outscored the Pistons 55-38. They outscored Detroit by 20.
So LeBron has missed the Lakers' last 8 games and 10 games overall this season as LA has gotten off to an 8-8 start. Although the Lakers still have the second best odds to win the title, only 3 teams in NBA history have been at 500 or below 16 games into the season before going on to win it all. So here's Ramona Shelburne with more on LeBron James.
I still have a burning desire inside of me to want to continue to win and host Larry O'Brien trophies at the end of the season.
There was a time, not so many years ago, when the idea of LeBron James passing the torch to a younger teammate seemed inevitable.
Kyrie Irving from downtown!
Kyrie Irving appeared perfect for the role.
That's great.
But didn't want it. Lonzo Ball was too young. Anthony Davis embraced it and won a championship in 2020.
This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers.
But last year, his body fell apart, and James was back carrying the load. Along the way, LeBron and the Lakers seemed to realize something. His 36-year-old body might not be able to support the weight of a title-contending team, but their best chance to be that championship team is still to try.
I feel confident because I'm the best player in the world.
These Lakers are once again built around James. They go as he goes, and when he's out with an injury, as he has been the past 8 games, no conclusions should be drawn.
We suck. No defense. Can't score.
The Lakers are 4-6 without James this year. Their offense looks disjointed when LeBron is off the floor, scoring 8 fewer points per 100 possessions than when he's on. Their defense has been That's the joy in watching James through these late career years. He's still playing at an elite level.
Chased down, blocked by James!
Which makes the Lakers championship contenders. There's just no telling how long it lasts, so you have to appreciate it.
A little later in the week, maybe earlier, depending on how he's feeling, but he's getting closer, and that's really important for the Lakers because obviously 4-4 without LeBron, but a lot of those games have been against lottery teams, so they really need him back out there.
And they're, I'm sure, looking forward to having him. What have you seen from the Lakers without LeBron James?
Well, I'm very excited that Taylor Horton-Tucker is back because it's been undersold, I think, that the Lakers have been without so many of Kendrick Nunn, Wayne Ellington for a while, Trevor Ariza still, THT. These are going to be key parts of their team. So it's been interesting to see him come back, and he was shooting threes and handling the ball a lot. So that's big for them. And other than that, AD stepping up and just a whole lot of, for better or worse, a whole lot of Russell Westbrook.
A whole lot of Russell Westbrook, and the Lakers split over the weekend. They lost to the Timberwolves on Friday night. Anthony Davis called it embarrassing, and then they beat the Spurs. Davis was the star, 34 points, 15 boards. So one word, Matt, what describes the Lakers now?
Marathon.
Okay.
The fans have to understand this is going to be a slow burn. This team, barely had anyone at the start of the season. In the summertime, they had to add a bunch of different pieces. And normally when a star sits out, it's good for other players to kind of find their footing. But in this case, it's different because LeBron does so much. So you're going to see a different Russell Westbrook and AD when LeBron is in, contrary to him being out. And I think what this team needs is just more time with LeBron because when it matters in the playoff time, LeBron's going to be on the floor. So these guys have to figure out how to play with this caliber of superstar.
The marathon continues. Zach, your one word?
Murky. What is this team? What is Russell Westbrook doing when LeBron is back and LeBron is the number one option and LeBron has the ball all the time? Right. Are they starting Anthony Davis at center? Are they leaning all the way there? Are we going to see DJ back and Dwight back? What exactly is the identity of this team on both sides of the ball? I just feel like we're, 13, 14 games in?
Yep.
We don't really know yet. And I think to Matt's point, when are we going to really have a feel for who's going to be even in the rotation? Is Kendrick Nunn going to come seize a role? THT, is he going to start? How big roles? It's all a mystery.
It's a murky marathon.
Murky.
Ramona, we adding to the M's?
M, come on, M.
Shoot. I guess
Meandering,
meandering. I was going to say evolving, but I can go with an M word.
Evolving marathon.
Yeah,
okay. Evolving murky marathon.
Look, we haven't seen their perimeter identity at all this year because LeBron's been out for the 8 games. They're 4-4 without him. Every couple of games, Frank Vogel tries a new starting lineup. The other day, he just tossed in Taylor Horton-Tucker. Hadn't played all season, tossed him into the starting lineup. Kent Bazemore, DNP for the first time all season.
Carmelo
in. I mean, they're just trying stuff out. They're evolving as the season is going on. And then when LeBron comes back, it'll all be different again, too.
And we're going to have to figure it out once more.
I think we're going to see the best Laker identity post All-Star break. Like I said, this is an older team, and we live in LA, and we want to see everything happen now, and there's so much potential in the championship, but it's going to take some time, and this team has to pace themselves.
Said no, it's LeBron because that was intentional, and he's the veteran, and he's the face of the league. So where are you on this?
I think LeBron looks worse in this situation. And don't get me wrong, you know, I get it. Isaiah Stewart is chasing after him and he's running after people. He ain't hurting nobody, right? Like he didn't put his hands on LeBron. I think a lot of it is you're upset because you see the blood dripping and you know LeBron James did that on purpose. I don't believe the intent was on purpose, but he purposely swung his arm and elbow at Isaiah Stewart. And so
but I don't understand that.
I don't believe the result, right? I don't believe he meant to
hit him, but not make him all blood. I just want to be clear on what you're saying.
Send a message, but not and when you make that decision, this is possible. Now, if Isaiah Stewart, because he's right next to LeBron, one, basketball players, they ain't really trying to fight anyone. He ain't trying to fight. He's acting, right? He's upset and he wants to run after people. He wants to do all that. He got close to DeAndre Jordan and he stopped and he let people grab him. Isaiah Stewart was just mad. But what LeBron James did, he did on purpose. What LeBron James did, he has to understand. He understands that he can't do because he's never done it. And what's going to happen is we're going to look at LeBron James's his behavior as a man, his behavior as a player, as being just a stellar pillar of what the NBA should be. And you're going to look at it as whole, like, okay, we might necessarily have to punish him for this one act, but this one act is all that counts right now. And if you're the NBA, you have to send a message to the rest of the world that we aren't going to treat LeBron James any different in this case because he's LeBron James.
Couple of things. Number one, Byron Spruill, I believe he's the president of league operations for the NBA. Kiki Vandeweghe used to handle the disciplinary matters. He departed in July. There's no replacement for him. There needs to be a replacement for him because we need basketball people making these kind of decisions. I think that's important, that people that can bring context to what transpired. Having said all of that, I don't disagree with the words you said about LeBron James. I don't believe the ramifications that came from it, like, for example, the blood and all that. I don't think he intended anything like that. But clearly he threw the elbow intentionally. I do understand people that sit up there and say, you know what if you got an elbow to your face? I get all of that, right? But here's the reality of the situation. Optics matter.
Okay.
I hit you with an elbow, okay? Regardless of what we want to think, those kind of things do happen from time to time in the sport of basketball. What Isaiah Stewart did does not. That doesn't happen often. When you bulldoze over numerous teammates and coaches, I mean, you saw bodies actually flying trying to help. Now, you could say he wasn't trying to do anything, and that's fine. But I'm talking about what he actually did. What he actually did was bulldoze over assistant coaches, bulldoze over numerous players, okay? They had to get security. They had to get law enforcement officials involved. They had to do all of this other stuff because you were completely out of control. What I'm saying is, based off of things that have happened in the NBA in the past, and we're not trying to compare this to the Malice and the Palace, but based off of those things optically, that is what the league is primarily concerned over. Now, they have to penalize LeBron because he was the instigator. He definitely should be suspended. But what I'm saying is, what was worse optically was the display that Isaiah Stewart put on. And when you have people, because we got people, you know, we all got.
So you think this? So that optically is worse than Jokic, Morris. That optically is worse than Gobert, and I forget who it was getting tangled up early on this season. That optic to me of Isaiah Stewart, the worst optic is him with blood streaming down his face as compared to chasing after people.
And I'm telling you. The league,
for the league,
I believe the league would respectfully disagree with you because the league is looking at the league is looking at advertisers, they're looking at sponsors, and more importantly, they're looking at their ability. They know that those folks are looking at their ability to control a situation.
So now everybody stay in their seats and all of that. That's the worst.
Sponsors, you're talking about LeBron James, the face of the league, and a 20-year-old kid. It's a 16, 17 year age difference.
I really want to ask this question. So you're saying in that situation, Isaiah Stewart has to protect the league by getting hit by LeBron, by bleeding, just grabbing a towel and walking off.
I'm saying to you that in that particular situation, if Isaiah Stewart had immediately reacted and attacked LeBron James, that's an entirely different look than him bulldozing over numerous teammates and coaches and having to be restrained by 15 different people. See, if he reacted, if LeBron James had elbowed him and he just reacted, went right at LeBron, that's different. That's you and LeBron. And LeBron instigated it. What I'm saying is when all of those other people get involved, and it takes that amount of stuff to restrain you, that is what the league is going to look at.
It took a second to see all the blood in his face and all that, to see how banged up he was. Maybe it took a second.
I'm pretty sure, too, though. I'm pretty sure as being that young man, you realize who you're walking up to. You know that's LeBron.
But also, too, though, you got to walk back in the locker room. And you saw when AD, what he said, we're going to protect ours. There's some egos and some codes that are involved in all of this, too. Because we will protect ours.
And you're supposed to.
Right. And yes, you do. Yes, you do. But in this situation, that what we're talking about is exciting something, making it bigger than even this right here. That's the league's #1 worry right there. That's why they're making an announcement. Everybody stay in your seats. As he's going crazy and running wild. That's why you are saying what you are saying, because when he's running wild like that, that excites everybody else. And now we can have another situation that nobody wants to happen.
And to bring your point, and to get back to your point, RC, if that had happened to you going straight for LeBron.
100%.
Right. What you're not doing is pause, waiting, and then all of a sudden you shoving bodies all over the place, and including older men in their 50s and Lord knows how long, knocking everybody over, having to be restrained by 15 people. What I'm saying to people out there is this: I'm not knocking Isaiah Stewart. I don't know the kid, good kid, bright future. Wish him nothing but the best. This shouldn't, he shouldn't be castigated for this. But in that moment, when it takes all of that. That is a worse look for the league than LeBron James simply hitting you with that elbow.
But it's easier for us to talk about it here than us getting hit in the mouth. That's true. Because you hit me in the mouth in front of,
but you would have went at him.
Right.
You wouldn't have went over. Neither one of y'all would have knocked over 15 people to get to him. So that's the point.
Once it's broken up and we're done, be done.
That's right.
I can see that.
Coming up.
At that particular moment in time wasn't dirty. The reality of the situation is you swung your elbow. And because you swung your elbow and it caused that kind of damage, the reality of the situation is that's what sparked the incident. However, I'm of the mindset that Isaiah Stewart, don't know much about him, respect his talent. He's definitely a man. The brother 6'8", 250, built like a middle linebacker. Definitely so. Now, when he initially went up to LeBron James, he didn't go up like that. But how he acted thereafter, I think he deserves to be suspended for multiple games. You cannot act like that. He ran over numerous players, numerous coaches. I mean, I'm not talking about them having to restrain him. He bulldozed over several dudes, including coaches, who are obviously older men. He could have done harm to his own teammates. Now, we know he didn't intend to do that. But in light of what, and this has nothing to do with the malice at the palace and all of that other stuff. I'm not trying to go there. But the point is, because of that, look at what that caused. You had, the league more stringent with rules and regulations. You've had people getting suspended just for stepping off the side or stepping off the court, onto the court from the bench and what have you. Rules have been extremely excessive to prevent anything close to that from happening. He looked completely out of control. And then after that, he storms into the locker room and try to storm down. Now, LeBron backpedaled and all of this other stuff. People texting me and tweeting, look at LeBron backing up. I will remind everybody that it wasn't like the brother was coming after me. LeBron's 6'9", 250, 260. It ain't like he's some punk. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he's smart enough not to do it, but more importantly, he knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong because he swung his elbow. All of that extra stuff Isaiah Stewart did was completely uncalled for. He was out of control, and you can't have that. I'm telling you right now.
Robert Williams remains questionable, and now Dennis Schroeder is questionable with a left ankle sprain. So, Perk, you won a championship out that way. What are the Celtics going to need to do tonight to defeat the Lakers with or without LeBron James?
Well, I mean, you know, it depends on which young guy is going to step up for the Celtics, right? Last game you had Grant Williams. He's been playing phenomenal. Every now and then you will see a guy like Peyton Pritchard or even a guy like Romeo Langford step up. It depends on which one is going to step up. But I will say this. Outside of Jason Tatum, Al Horford has been the most consistent player for the Boston Celtics on both ends of the floor. And you could just tell from coming back from being in Oklahoma City, like he's embracing the moment again of actually being on the team that he can actually win games. No disrespect to OKC, but I got the
disrespect.
I got the Lakers winning tonight. Like the Lakers didn't lose.
With or without LeBron?
Yeah,
the Lakers
with or without LeBron. They didn't lost 2 in a row. I just don't see them dropping 3 in a row. I think Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis elevate their game. Taylor Horton-Tucker has been playing phenomenal. I mean, great basketball. So I got the Lakers winning tonight. I'm not a homer.
Yeah, no. You are a homer.
Thanks
but
for getting that in.
Yeah, no. I think the Lakers, I think they're getting to a spot, right? You know that they're frustrated. You know that they want to play better. And look, I think Bron is coming back. I think they've been very cautious with Bron over this. I don't know if this was not necessarily an 8-game injury. I think normally it might have been probably a 4 or 5-game injury, but it's the beginning of the season. Let's be cautious. So I think getting him back, but getting him back does not solve all your problems. You got to play team defense. You got to do all of these things. If you just think that LeBron James is going to come in and fix your effort, fix the late game turnovers. No, they were still dealing with some of this stuff when he was playing. They got off to a slow start. They were better with them, but they still have a long way to go, even with LeBron James, before they are playing at a championship level.
What do you see there?
I'm interested just in if he plays, what's their starting lineup going to be? Are we ever going to see their centers start? I don't know, but I know Taylor Horton-Tucker has certainly earned a look because he's the young guy. If he's shooting threes like this, like it's early, it's 3-4 games, but if he can make enough spot-up threes, he's their best option for a 3-and-D-ish wing next to LeBron, which is like what the holy grail is for them. So I'm interested to see if he keeps playing well. And I agree with Perk. I don't know if they're going to win, but I think they need this game more than Boston. Just the Lakers being under 500 just would feel a little icky, a little weird.
Yeah.
And the Celtics next 2 games.
What was this word?
Icky.
Schmoozle.
Schmoozle is not a word. And the Celtics' next 2 games are home games against the Rockets and the Thunder. So if you lose tonight, you should be able to get the next 2.
Right. So let's stick with that, though. If LeBron James does come back, Perk, as the Lakers are sort of trying to reassimilate. And LeBron, we had this lengthy discussion the other day, right, about Klay Thompson. And when he comes back and already having this pre-existing chemistry that maybe you just have him back and that's totally fine and there's nothing you need to do to work on it. What's the case with LeBron here, Perk? How are you going to be looking at that?
Well, you know what? Despite everything else LeBron James brings to the table on the floor, like his stats, his numbers, his leadership, that floor general, like being able to put guys in the certain spots. You know, he's that coach on the floor that Frank Vogel can't beat, right? Putting guys in the spots, calling out defense, recognizing the other team plays, those little things. You expect that out of Rondo, but Rondo minutes haven't been there. You know LeBron James is going to be on the floor. And one thing also about LeBron James, he loved playing in the Garden. He loved playing
arguably his greatest game ever was in Boston.
Adrian Wojnarowski came on our show yesterday and mentioned just how important he doesn't get to go as often as he did when he was in the Eastern Conference. And so he really gets up for these sorts of games. But, Zach, if you were saying, all right, let's say LeBron James does play tonight, and again, he is a game-time decision, but if he does play tonight, who are you looking at as the second most important Laker to make sure that they secure this win?
It's always Anthony Davis.
Always never Russell Westbrook? It's never Russell Westbrook?
I mean, you said it was Russell Westbrook last
I changed it. That was 2 nights ago. And Russ played a good game, and they lost still. Yeah. And Anthony Davis didn't play a good game. You guys talked about how Giannis kind of just overwhelmed him. It just wasn't even close. So the second most important guy is always Anthony Davis. If he plays elite two-way ball, and the thing that I always watch with Anthony Davis is he looks like a good jump shooter. His jumper looks nice. He has a nice feathery touch. He hasn't been a good jump shooter. Like the perimeter touch hasn't been there. And that's always the bellwether with him. Remember when they won in the bubble, he made a ton of monster jump shots. So he hasn't made any threes really this season. I'm looking to see if we can get a little more stretchy Anthony Davis.
Stretchy.
Yeah. Well, look,
stretchy.
Yeah, look, the Lakers are going to be fine. You get LeBron James, but like I said before, just adding a great player doesn't fix everything. If the Warriors were below 500, like, well, they're getting Klay Thompson back. And it's like, yes, getting Klay Thompson back doesn't fix any problems, but they're cooking right now.
They got no problems.
They got no problems.
Klay Thompson, not LeBron.
But I'm just saying, but I'm saying adding a player, you can't just think that adding a great player, even a leader, is going to solve your problems. So, yes, getting LeBron James is going to make them a lot better, but they still need to clean up so much other stuff.
I don't know. Adding a great player like Kendrick Perkins to a Celtics team,
they would have lost in 7. They would have lost in 7. Oh,
look at the jump hook. Look at the jump hook. Look at that beautiful thing. Is that baby Kareem?
That's trash.
That's a dark-skinned version.
Oh my God!
We all snatching the screws out the
what
basket.
What kind of flavor saver you got going on there?
You see the turn around. Hey, look! Don't try to kill my moment.
I'm not trying to kill your moment. Ew, that's the same highlight.
No, it wasn't.
That's the same play.
No, it wasn't. Look
at big fella.
Getting all the good angles. Well,
look at that.
We're not going to see this.
We're trying to get physical with Bron. Bron did the same thing. You know, everyone in the league knows Bron not a dirty guy. I nearly hit him. As soon as he did it, he looked back at him and told him, "Oh, my bad. I didn't try to do it." He tried to. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I know nobody on our team, 1 through 15, was having it. You know, we're gonna protect our brother. I've never, in 10 years, seen a player try to do that. Well, since I've been playing, I mean, obviously we've seen it before, but back in the day. But in recent basketball, it was uncalled for.
Straight talk, wireless, no contract, no compromise. All right, Jay, dirty play, yes or no?
Yeah, it was a dirty play. I think LeBron James should be suspended for 1 or 2 games. It wasn't an elbow. When you actually look at the replay and you see it, it was a closed fist hit to the face of Isaiah Stewart. So, you know, look, arms get tangled up. I get all that.
Can we see the video again, please?
Yeah, we should show the video again. If you see it in slow-mo, closed fist hit to the face of Isaiah Stewart. You're going to see right here it comes across rake. And I get that the arms are tied up, but, I mean, that's a flagrant 2. He should have been ejected for that. LeBron James is not a dirty player at all. LeBron James is one of the greatest players to ever play. But that was a dirty play. And I think one of the things that gets people a little bit frustrated about it was that afterwards LeBron James is staring there, kind of staring at him with his hand out, you know, saying like, hey, I don't know if that was I'm sorry or what he was trying to say, instead of just being like, yeah, that's what happened. Now look,
I see the fit. You know what? I've seen that a million times, until you pointed that out, I didn't see it. Looked to me like he swung the elbow, but Key, if we got the video up here, you could see where actually it looks now to me like he catches him with his fist following the elbow, and that's what opened the cut over the eye. See, there it is.
Look,
yep.
Right there.
In the end, man, I don't. Basketball players say stuff is dirty when it doesn't appear to be dirty to me. That's just me. I didn't play in the NBA. Jay played in the NBA. So to Jay, that's dirty. To me, it looked like he's trying to box him out. He's tangled up with him with his arm. He's trying to use his force and his strength with him. And as he's doing it, his head is kind of leaning toward. And as LeBron is pushing away, he rips into him to get his arm off of him and not necessarily to try and, you know, hurt him or gouge his eye or nothing like that. But that's just what I see. Now, maybe Jay sees something different or you see something different. It did not look like a dirty play to me. Dirty play to me is if he's looking at the basket, LeBron James just said, bam, that's dirty to me. But when I'm tangled up with somebody and I'm locked in the arms and I'm trying to fight for position and a rebound, and as I'm using my strength and against his strength and forcefully just pull back, to me, that was more of an accident than it was as a dirty play.
I'm not saying that he intentionally hit him in the face, but Key, if you look at the play.
But wait, Jay, but if you use dirty.
Hold on, but Key, watch. The ball's in. The ball's in. The ball's in the hoop. Isaiah Stewart is going the other way. He's out of the play. DeAndre Jordan, so he leans a little bit against LeBron, which catches LeBron off balance a little bit. LeBron could just went. The ball was already in. The play's over.
Yeah, but I think when you tangle with
like
me,
that, Key.
When you tangle with me underneath the board, when I've been underneath the boards, not in the NBA, but just in high school or college or whatever the case may be, I'm like pushing back because I'm trying to get my position and get my leverage.
But Key, that's not even underneath the board. He's on the second block. The ball's in.
And then the ball goes in. There's no rebound to be had. You know what it is? It looks like this to me. In boxing, for example, you might have a dude who's dirty or will make some dirty moves, at least from time to time. One of those might be he's coming in with his head. He's swinging his head. Now, is he aiming for your face? Not exactly. But if your face happens to be there, it's going to catch it, right? LeBron whipped around. I think, Key, the video that we just saw, Jay proved his point to me in that LeBron could see that play is now over. You're not jockeying
but
for
Max,
rebound.
if I'm tangled up with somebody, play over or not, and I'm tangled up with you, and you still using your force against me, then I'm gonna use my force against you to get off of you.
Yeah, and I think
one thing, if you look at the force, though, Key,
like, get your damn hands off.
I'm gonna talk to you about force, though. If you see the play, the force for Isaiah Stewart is on the hip or the rib cage of LeBron James, which is how you box out. How you are taught not to box out is having your elbow or your fist above someone's face. Now, I know LeBron probably wasn't 1,000% sure of the trajectory of where his arm is, but look at the left arm. It's above the face, man.
Yeah, I think.
Jay, have you not had a dude touching you and you like, man, get your damn hands off of me?
That's exactly what it was.
Yes.
That's exactly what, like, man, the ball that went through the hoop, you stop touching me. Get your hands off of me.
I feel you on that.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But he did it in a way, LeBron did, with his fist after the ball had gone in, where it was not just get off me, but it's get off me and take that with you a little bit. And I think part of the reason we're even talking about it is because it opened up a big gash over his eye. Like,
absolutely.
He was a bloody mess.
Now, look, I give the Lakers credit, though, Keith, because
you don't want somebody bleeding. But in the end, I just wouldn't use the adjective as dirty to describe what LeBron did.
What would you say it was? Inadvertent contact?
Unfortunately, dude got hit. I mean, that's what I would say.
I just feel like when it's a closed fist, that's different, man.
See,
unfortunate eye jammy.
Dirty to me is when you go into the hoop, right, Jay? And I know that you on a fast break and I'll shove you in the back. That's dirty to me.
Okay. So it was inadvertently dirty.
Okay.
Is that like a middle ground?
You still using the word dirty. I just can't. I can't use dirty. I can't use dirty.
It was the reason you can't, if you can't, Key, to me, it's because it was slick. And I think that's why Stewart was like, nope, you're not walking that line with me.
When you say slick, it leaves the interpretation as if LeBron James literally tried to open his eye slickly.
I don't think that was the intention.
I don't think it was done deliberately, but it still happened.
Yeah.
Right?
The intention was get off me and take this